Another major change that's coming out along with Android 11 is permissions. And I feel like with every update, you can't avoid talking about permissions because permissions is just so easy to understand in terms of privacy and all these other issues for users that really they do have a big impact. And really, there were some major changes in Android 11. A lot of them are kind of copying off of iOS in a way from last year's update, and it becomes very obvious with this first update, which is one-time permissions. So if you have an iOS device and you've seen it do this, where you access the app the first time and it asks you, can I access these permissions while the app is running, all the time, or one time? Well, the current version of Android lets you do that, all the time or while the app is running to kind of eliminate that background issue. But now they're also adding that one-time permission as well. And what's interesting is, this is making a big change because, there are certain applications where for users, they only want to give location permission at one time at that moment. And this is kind of like a big privacy enhancement. But it doesn't really end there. The other one that's kind of interesting is this auto reset permission. Auto reset is another way for old apps on your devices to not retain permissions that they already have. So let's say you have an app that exists on your device and you haven't used it for a long time, but it had that location permission or external storage permission or whatever. And after several months, you just never use it. It's just been sitting there. The Android operating system, after so long, they didn't give an exact amount of time. They just said several months. Will just take the permission back, and it'll reset the permission settings on that application. With that said, there's ways for developers to ask users to opt out and disable that functionality. But again, this is great because everyone has that app on their device that they forget about. Maybe they gave it a permission, maybe they didn't. But it's nice to know that after several months, that permission is kind of going to go away. The final big change, which really has been in the Android operating system for quite some time, but now is more focused around location, is the background location access. Before, video calls, all those things were really not accessible in the background, only under certain conditions. Now location's in that group as well. There's only special ways to get access to location background, and there's a new permission for that. Of course, there's specific criteria where you can get access to these functionalities in the background, but they're really specific to the API you're using and really unique cases where it makes sense. For instance, if you're taking a phone call or video call and you access something in the background, or that thing goes into the background, you'd still want that call to maintain the call. And there's other examples of that, and really it'll be interesting to see how those edge cases play out, but they've been going on for quite some time. And really it also tells you another thing. If an application is using an access background location permission, it might be something to be aware of if you're auditing those apps. And you're going to see that a lot in Android 11, is that a lot of the permission changes and little things that happen are maybe not important to your application, but are important to be aware of other applications using. And you'll see that throughout this presentation.